In this video, I will be sharing with you my pandemic flight experience from New York to Manila via Philippine Airlines on economy class. So I will be going through the ground experience, check-in, boarding, the aircraft cabin, my economy seat, the overnight amenity kit, the in-flight entertainment system, the onboard Wi-Fi, the in-flight meals, the lavatory, and the cabin crew. Mabuhay! This is Ronipe back for another trip report. So I recently flew from JFK New York International Airport to NAIA Manila International Airport last January 2022, and without further ado, let's proceed to the trip report. Philippine Airlines flies out of JFK Terminal 1. I got to the airport around 4 hours before my flight. So whenever possible, I try to check in online for all my flights, and I did the same for this one. So I only had to go to the baggage drop counter at JFK Terminal 1. The line for the baggage drop counter was not too long, however, it still took me quite a while, probably an hour, to get to my turn to drop off my bags. I think it's because the ground crew has to check every passenger's travel entry requirements to the Philippines. We had to present a negative RT-PCR test result, but I believe the travel rules now require you to have your specimen taken within 48 hours before your estimated time of departure. So another thing that they check is the Philippine One Health Pass. So to know more about those travel requirements, you can check my video about it here from traveling internationally into the Philippines. So next is the actual baggage drop. So economy class passengers are allowed 2 checked bags up to 23 kilograms or 50 pounds each, and then 1 carry-on bag up to 7 kilos or 15 pounds, and 1 personal item like a laptop bag or a handbag. So they are pretty serious about the weight limits on the bags. My carry-on bag was overweight, so they had to ask me to remove stuff from there and move it to other bags that still had available weight limit allowance. It's kind of a hassle, but it's not the airline's fault. I was the one who overpacked my bag. So once your bags have been dropped off, it's now time to go to the security check. So the security check was very fast, I think for 2 reasons. The first one is that there's a pandemic, so there are limited flights. And the second one is that the time of the flight is around midnight, so there aren't much flights during that time. So after security check, I had a lot of time to go around the airport, but there weren't much places to go to unless you want to go duty-free shopping or eat there. So I just had a quick snack of a croissant and hot chocolate. So after waiting, it's now time for boarding. So boarding was efficient and organized as well. So the ground staff asked people to board by row number. Now we check the aircraft cabin. So the aircraft cabin is nice and clean. Nothing too special, but I know this is one of the newer aircrafts on Philippine Airlines' fleet. So now I reach my economy seat. So one of the things I really like about this flight is that there's generous legroom even in economy class. So I remember that it was very uncomfortable to fly in economy class before, but with Philippine Airlines economy seat, I think it was much better than other airlines that I have experienced. You have a generous legroom, a generous seat recline, and a headrest that you can fold so you can arrange it like a travel pillow. So I know that the foldable headrest is not particular to Philippine Airlines. So after everyone on the flight has settled, it was now time to take off. Actually, our flight was ready to take off ahead of schedule. There were no delays, but of course, we couldn't take off earlier than what was scheduled. So they have a good in-flight entertainment system. However, the selection was not really that appealing to me, and I brought my own content saved on my phone. Next is the onboard Wi-Fi. So the onboard Wi-Fi was available a few minutes after takeoff. So in people in economy class, we're entitled to 60 MB of data in flight. I consumed my free Wi-Fi data allocation within the first hour of the flight because I know that based on my experience in my flight with them from Manila to New York, the Wi-Fi signal becomes inaccessible for the rest of the flight. Next is the overnight amenity kit. I understand that this is one of the longest flights in the world. So I think the overnight amenity kit really helps. So it contains 3 items. First is the eye shade for when you want to sleep. Then a toothpaste and a toothbrush if you want to brush your teeth in the middle of the flight. And last is a pair of socks which you can put over your socks. So that's what I did. I took off my shoes during the flight, and instead of having my socks get dirty on the ground, you have an extra layer to keep your main socks clean. So next are the in-flight meals. So there are 3 meal services on this flight: a hot meal, refreshments, and breakfast. So for the hot meal, I got the chicken. This was the best meal I've had on this flight. And I think I'd be willing to pay for that meal when eating outside, so it was good. So it was like a peri-peri chicken or Japanese chicken curry. It was very flavorful. There were mixed veggies that tasted like frozen mixed veggies, but that's expected. I'm not really expecting anything gourmet on a flight, especially on an economy ticket. So for the refreshments, I ordered the shrimp pad thai. I don't think it's really pad thai, so it was kind of disappointing. They could have just called it shrimp pasta and I'd still get it, but making people expect pad thai and not giving them pad thai, this meal was kind of disappointing for me. The taste was just okay. The chicken meal was so much better. And then for breakfast, I got the chicken teriyaki. So the chicken teriyaki was not too sweet. The scrambled egg and the rice are okay too. So the serving sizes were a bit small for my appetite because I eat a lot. It's enough to get you through the 17-hour flight. The next are the lavatories. Nothing special here, standard with all other airplanes that I've been on, I think. One thing that is a bit disappointing is the flushing mechanism for the toilets. Because I know that these are some of the newer planes on Philippine Airlines' fleet, but you still have to push a button to flush the toilet. I've been on Air China flights a few years back and you just have to wave your hand over the sensor and it will flush. And also the toilet seats are electronically controlled on the Air China flight from years back. So this is nothing major, just something that I noticed. And then next we go to the cabin crew. So apart from the generous legroom and seat recline, I think the cabin crew is one of the things that makes me want to fly with Philippine Airlines again in the future because I'm Filipino, they're Filipinos, so I don't know if it's just me, I feel more at home around people similar to me. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed or learned something from this video. If so, please give this a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. So what do you think about this flight? How does this compare to other New York to Manila flights on other airlines? Please let me know in the comments. And this is me, Ronipe, signing off. I'll see you again on another video. Bye!